This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's 6 o'clock and a Storm Team 6 alert day on RTV 6 as we deal with periods of rain off and on throughout the day. We'll have your hour-by-hour forecast.
More crime tape in the Circle City. The violence that left 4 people injured and 1 person dead in a few short hours.
Domestic violence, a problem across the Hoosier State. The important conversation to help curb a possible life-threatening situation.
Part of a popular central Indiana city on the auction block. The event happening today that could change the town's future.
The ability to communicate is something we likely take for granted. How a device is helping our neighbors get their message across.
Ghouls and goblins ready to ring your doorbell. What you need to know before the trick-or-treaters arrive, so you don't waste your money.
And pirates have taken over this Johnson County neighborhood. Meet the man behind this massive display.
We begin at 6 a.m. on Good Morning Indiana with a Storm Team 6 alert.
And here on this Wednesday, October 30th, we want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana.
And because it is a Storm Team 6 alert day, we want to get right to Todd Clausen. Todd, what are we looking at this morning?
Rain. More rain's heading our way throughout the day today, and it's going to be off and on from start to finish. As it is an alert day for you, definitely need to have the umbrella handy. Scattered showers already developing this morning. Becomes a little more steady as we work our way into the afternoon hours. Then it briefly tapers off a little bit later on this evening. I think that'll give you at least an opportunity maybe to run some errands without the rain falling. Obviously, it'll still be very damp and dreary. And here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar right now. And you see the showers are really starting to fill in across central Indiana with even a few heavier downpours just south of Bloomington and Nashville. And plenty more rain is heading our way. Some light rain from Monticello to Peru into the Kokomo and Noblesville area right now. And then here are those heavier showers just south of Bloomington and Nashville. But look at this rain. Stretches all the way down to basically the Gulf of Mexico, and it's all heading in our direction. So have that umbrella handy. This morning, temperatures are in the 40s. That's where they basically stay throughout the morning hours. We'll talk about Halloween's forecast, which isn't pretty as well, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, busy in the weather department, quiet in the traffic department. Here's a look right now at Harding Street on the south side as people are hopping onto the interstate there on 465. Traffic's moving along smoothly. No issues to slow you down. So let's take a look at some drive times. Planning out your commute coming in from the southeast side. A quick 5-minute drive from Acton Road up to I-465. No delays there. Looking here on the northwest side as you're heading southbound on Interstate 65 from I-865 in the dogleg down to I-70 at the North Split. No problems. It's a 17-minute commute. We'll continue to keep you updated.
At 6:03, breaking overnight, more violence in the Circle City. This morning, Metro Police investigating a homicide and 2 rounds of gunfire, leaving 4 people recovering from their injuries. The latest victim of the gunfire was found on Braxton Court.
That's near 30th and Cumberland Road on the city's far east side. Police say a 19-year-old man sitting in a car was hit by bullets or car fragments in that shooting. The man was taken to the hospital in serious but stable condition. Authorities believe the man was shot elsewhere and then drove to Braxton Court around 11:30 last night. This morning, what led up to the shooting remains under investigation.
Also this morning, police are investigating after a man was found dead in his northeast side apartment. The officers there were called out to the apartment complex near 62nd and Allisonville Road just before 10 o'clock last night. Police on the scene told RTV6 that the 40-year-old man was suffering from some sort of trauma. Neighbors who lived near the apartment called police about a disturbance that was happening inside. Police say there is no signs that someone was trying to break into this apartment. If you have any information about what may have led to this man's death, please call Crime Stoppers.
Also this morning, we're working to learn the circumstances surrounding a triple shooting on the north side of Indianapolis. Officers were called to Boulevard Place, that's near Crown Hill Cemetery. Police say someone fired gunshots into the back of a home from an alley, hitting 2 women and a man around 9:30 Tuesday night. According to Metro Police, the victims are taken to the hospital in stable condition.
New overnight fire investigators are trying to figure out what started a fire on the city's east side. It all started just before 1 this morning, just west of Brookside Drive and Rural Street. Officials on scene tell us there were no utilities running to the vacant home. Thankfully, no one was injured in the fire. The case remains under investigation. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and 2 local organizations are working to change the conversation on the subject that can sometimes be uncomfortable for some. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning. Kelsey, what is the end goal for these groups?
Well, Meredith, their end goal is to change the way we as a community talk about domestic violence. They say they want to end the stigmatism around the subject. Now, this conversation was hosted last night right off the heels of a deadly domestic situation in Lawrence yesterday afternoon, where police say a man seriously injured his ex-wife in a shooting at a gas station, and then the suspect was later found by police and had taken his own life. The conversation was put together by Anti-MAME's Child Development Center and Indiana Healthy Marriage and Family Coalition. They want women, men, and children to know that domestic violence is a complex issue that affects everyone involved.
Because it doesn't just affect the abuser and the person that's abused. It affects the children. It affects their family. It affects the community. It affects employment. It just affects the community as a whole.
Their message to victims of domestic violence is it's okay to talk about your abuse with someone you trust. And if you don't have someone close to you that you can talk to, or if you need help getting out of an abusive relationship, you can reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Their number is 800-799-7233. You can also find help and resources at the Indiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence website. We've got all of that linked for you over on the RTV6 News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
The time now is 6:06. It is 46 degrees in Indianapolis. An auction happening today could shape the future of a Brown County town. A real estate liquidation sale is scheduled for 1 o'clock at the Brown County History Center in Nashville. Around 25 local shops will be on the auction block. That's about 1/3 of the businesses in downtown Nashville. They were all owned by one man, and after he died, his kids decided to sell those properties.
The official beginning of the end will come today for a crime-ridden abandoned apartment complex on the northeast side. This morning, demolition will begin on the Oak Tree Apartments at 42nd and Post Road. The mayor and other city officials will be on hand for the start of demolition on the 19-acre property. It's been vacant due to a court order since 2014. The owners of the property recently lost an appeal of the demolition decision, which means it will go forward. Due to the size of the project, demolition is expected to last at least 6 months.
So October is also AAC Awareness Month, or a way to bring attention to alternative devices available to people who are nonverbal or need another way to communicate for some other reason.
Yeah, Raphael, we know more than 2 million people use these devices, and our own Alyssa Donovan is joining us in studio this morning. And Alyssa, you spoke with a family who says that this has changed their lives.
That's right. They tell me since their son started using his augmentative and alternative communication device, their entire family's life has changed for the better. They can now understand what he wants, needs, and his feelings in ways they could not before. Sarah and Joseph Don's oldest son, Liam, is almost 9 years old now. And when he was young, they noticed he wasn't advancing at the rate expected when it came to speech. They learned he was on the autism spectrum. They've now expanded their family. Liam is the oldest of 4. The Dants tell me having 4 kids presents its challenges anyways, and when one of them is nonverbal, it can be very hard. Less than a year ago, Liam started using an augmentative alternative communication device. It looks like an iPad, but it has little pictures on it that Liam can touch to communicate with his family and teachers. In less than a year of use, his parents say the device has allowed him to make great strides in his communication.
He actually is starting to use some more words, even talking and putting things together. Before, I feel like we kind of just were guessing all the time, and now we feel like maybe we can sort of enter his world a little bit.
Liam's speech therapist says AAC devices are often the next step when a child with speech challenges is not responding to the use of sign language. The Dants say this technology has opened up a whole new future for Liam, one where he can be more independent as he gets older.
Alyssa, thank you. RTV6 is working to get a fix for this frustrated neighborhood. For months, water has been streaming down Belmont Avenue on the southwest side. Residents say despite several calls to Citizens Energy and the Mayor's Action Center, no one has come to fix the problem. They say they're worried about infrastructure and the cost of all that water being wasted as some utilities consider raising rates. One mom says she kept trying to go through the normal avenues to get it fixed, but got fed up.
It was about the 6th or 7th time that I called Citizens Energy Group, and I said, this is enough. I'm calling 6 for help because there's nothing that one person can do until they turn to the news. When you're the low man on the totem pole, no one cares about your words. It's only when someone who's higher up gets involved that something's actually done about problems.
We took the concerns to Citizens Energy Group. They say the issue was, quote, inadvertently marked low priority in the system, and that's why it hadn't been addressed before now. If you've got a problem you're not getting the answers to, reach out to us and email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com. Todd.
All right, as you take to the roadways here this morning, you're definitely going to have to flip on the windshield wipers. The showers are overspreading the area, so we'll give you a caution flag for your morning drive. As we get into the evening hours, unfortunately, not much change as we'll continue to deal with scattered showers on the Storm Team 6 alert day.
Tis the season for holiday shopping. Thank you, Todd. And trips to the mall to visit Santa. Ahead in Hiring Hoosiers, how you could be suited for this holiday job. That and much more coming up right here on Good Morning, Indiana.
And shine brighter than you ever thought possible.
Tis the season. Santa Claus is coming to town. Have you been naughty or nice? I'm naughty. She's nice.
Of course.
Yeah.
And he's got a big job to do because he has to bring me all the presents.
All of them.
And speaking of jobs, in this morning's Hiring Hoosiers, our TV6's Mark Mullins shows you the jobs open for Santa.
A white beard and small spectacles. Larry Shaw is not always Larry Shaw.
I've been Santa 40 years, going on 41 years.
And though he can look the part, by no means does Larry ever think that he's the real Santa.
We're all just help Santa. We all have the Santa spirit, and everybody out there can have the Santa spirit.
He just knows Santa has a big job to do around the holidays, seeing kids, checking lists, being here and being there. And therein lies the opportunity to land a job. And hundreds in central Indiana have already gotten on the Santa bandwagon, or sleigh, if you will.
Now we got an Indiana group called Hoosier Santas, and we have almost 400 people in that group now.
The original spell was cast the day Larry's wife volunteered him to play Santa at his daughter's school 4 decades ago. He visited schools and then nursing homes.
At that time, I was getting paid. I got paid in smiles.
As Larry's beard grew, so did interest in his Santa services. The postal carrier started getting requests from businesses, and that's when he started charging money for his appearances.
I was surprised how much I got paid, yes. It was a lot more than I would have asked.
Larry prefers working household and company parties, craft fairs, and special holiday events, saying private event Santas can make anywhere between $100 and $150 an hour. In fact, his Hoosier Santas group helps book Santas and provides resources and advice for those interested in this kind of seasonal work. His first piece of advice, spending a day taking a Santa class to learn the nuances of becoming a convincing Santa.
Your good Santas are also entertainers, so they know, stories about the North Pole, for instance. They have stories about their magic key that lets them in the house, or different things that they have. They can interact as the man himself.
There's a logistical side to this gig, too. Like professional clowns, Santas are encouraged and sometimes required to have insurance. Assembling a quality costume helps, too, and could cost hundreds of dollars as an initial investment. But it's been quite the sleigh ride, and worth it for Larry.
It's a lot of fun, and you get paid to have fun, and you get paid to, again, make these kids happy and smile.
Working for you in Mooresville, Mark Mullins, RTV6.
We checked with Simon Malls and the company it works with to book Santas. They tell us all of their central Indiana properties are booked, and they typically hire in the spring for the upcoming holiday season.
The Santas typically make between $20 to $50 an hour. Now, we mentioned the Hoosier Santas group and the classes. We put a link to the closest Santa schools and information about a traveling Santa school on our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
Christmas.com. Remember to be nice. Don't be naughty.
Well, it is not Christmas season yet, even though I like to pretend it is sometimes. We still have to get through the end of October. It's Meredith's birthday today, her golden birthday. Happy birthday, Meredith. Todd, you're not giving her the best birthday present.
I'm giving her an alert day and everybody else here across central Indiana, which nobody wants. I can guarantee that. But unfortunately, we are dealing with rain here on this October morning across parts of central Indiana. It's not super widespread yet, but it's going to gain some traction here as it goes throughout the day, and the coverage of the rain showers will become greater. Monticello, Logansport right now tipped in over towards Alexandria. Some rain is falling, and then there's some heavier showers from Bloomington over towards Greensburg. And this is just the start of the rainfall. We are going to be dealing with this throughout the entire day. Now, the good news is we're just dealing with the rain. You see some snow towards Chicago and Kankakee, where there's actually winter weather advisory. We will not have to worry about that aspect of the precipitation in the forecast for the day today. But look at how far this rain stretches down to the south, and it's all streaming here off towards the north and east. So rain picks up in coverage through the middle half of the morning, pretty widespread throughout the afternoon hours. It's all generally fairly light rain with just some pockets of what we'll call moderate rainfall at times. And then this evening, it'll still be damp, it'll still be dreary, but I do think we get a little bit of a break from the rainfall before the next round of rain starts to make its way into the area. Temperatures today really don't do a whole lot. We're in the 40s right now, and we only go up a couple degrees into the 50s here in southern locations, but only mid-40s up to the north. So it's a very, very chilly day for us. Let's talk about these Halloween headlines for you, because I know a lot of people are preparing, obviously, to take their kids out trick-or-treating. Indoors is going to be a lot better than outdoors, unfortunately, tomorrow. So the morning hours are very wet, and then we do mix some snow in as we go into the evening hours. So you may see some flakes, no accumulation. I think these two headlines are the biggest Halloween stories we have going. The wind really starts to pick up throughout the day. It gusts up to about 40 miles per hour out of the northwest. That'll take our temperatures from the 40s into the 30s. You add the wind chill in, and it's going to feel like it's in the 20s by the time we get into the trick-or-treating hours in the evening hours with that wind really, really whipping. So you see the temperature trend here, hour by hour, 45 at 8 a.m. By the time we get to 6 p.m., 35. This white line, it heads in an upward direction. That's the wind speed. You see we're in the 20s by the afternoon hours, gust to 40 as the rain changes over to some snow. So here is the TrueCast version for Thursday. Rainy morning commute. As we get into the afternoon hours, we will see the bulk of the rainfall push off towards the east. That's the good news in the forecast. It's just some lingering rain and or snow showers. But again, I don't think the precipitation is the headline here. It is definitely going to be the wind and the temperatures tomorrow evening. And speaking of temperatures, look at that low by Friday morning, all the way down to 27 degrees. It's going to be our first hard freeze of this fall season. The good news is for the weekend, while it's chilly in the 40s, we do have plenty of sunshine.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning, and here's a live look at I-70 and West Street. Our camera just froze, but everything was moving along up to speed in this area as you're approaching downtown. Take a look now at our Traffic Now maps. I am monitoring just a little bit of a slowdown here on northbound US 31 approaching Southport Road. Give yourself just a few extra minutes, as well as traveling over here to our east westbound I-70 drivers. Maybe you're heading in from Greenfield or areas to the east. The right lane's blocked for some ongoing construction as you approach Mount Comfort Road. Just a slight delay in that area as you squeeze over into the left lane.
As tattoos become more popular, more shops are popping up. But a reminder this morning to stay safe and do your research first. Tattooing is not regulated by the federal government, and requirements for shops vary by city. Some don't ask shops to be licensed before opening up, and not all cities require artists to be certified. There's also concern for cleanliness and needles. The FBA says it doesn't have regulations because it considers tattooing cosmetic.
Tuberculosis kills more than 1 million people a year all across the globe. Well, this morning, researchers are experimenting with a new adult vaccine that they say is 50% effective. Right now, there is a TB vaccine for kids to prevent severe complications, but this is the first to also work in adults. The CDC says most people infected with the lung disease in the U.S. either travel a lot or they were born outside of the country. It's most common in India. The World Health Organization says the vaccine is a major breakthrough and is working to further develop it.
The time now is 6:21. We showed you this scary crash last week. Ahead in our Trending 6, the event happening this week, signaling a new beginning for a mom involved in a very scary scene. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. on RTV6.
It is 6:24 on your Wednesday, and we are out in live drive, keeping a close eye on your commute. Our Shea Goodpaster behind the wheel, working the windshield wipers, as you can see, on northbound I-465 on the southeast side. Traffic is traveling up to speed.
We're going to load up that live drive with some candy in our Trending 6. Either you love it or you hate it. Today, right now, this is National Candy Corn Day. Did you know that? The sugary goodie looks like a yellow, orange, and white kernel of corn. As you know, the candy was originally called chicken feed back in the 1800s. Get this, 35 million pounds of the candy is consumed each year. That's about 9 billion pieces.
Wowzers. Huge skeletons are taking over the streets in Mexico. The artwork was created by neighbors to celebrate the Day of the Dead holiday. But the annual holiday wasn't the only reason behind the skeletons. Residents say they want officials to repair the streets.
Well, more than 18,000 residents in Tennessee say they've had enough scaring. They've started a petition to shut down an extreme haunted house. Neighbors near McCamey Manor say they hear constant screams of horror from this attraction. To visit the haunted house, you have to pass a physical. Well, the owner says he finds the petition funny.
Here's a giant fish story for the ages. Oklahoma fisherman George Washington says he fishes a few times a week. When he started to reel in his pole on Sunday, he quickly realized he didn't have an ordinary fish on the line. No, that's a whale. The monster weighed 60 pounds and is more than 4 feet long. Washington says it took him a while, you think, to even find a scale that could handle this colossal catch. What is that?
Looks like a catfish.
Hey, speaking of Washington, the Washington Nationals coming out on top last night over the Houston Astros. Their win forces a tie-breaking Game 7 of the World Series. A win for the Nationals tonight would mean their first ever World Series title. An Astros win would give the team its second title in the last 3 years.
Well, this morning we have a happy ending following this frightening crash. This red light runner nearly hit and killed a family crossing a Phoenix street. The woman who crashed into a suspected drunk driver getting a new car. Shannon Vivar also got tickets to Disneyland for her and her son. The good news, everyone survived that horrific crash, and Vivar says the new car represents a fresh beginning for her family. Love that. All right, well, something everyone is talking about today is the weather and tomorrow's weather on Halloween.
Yeah, tomorrow is probably the worst of the 2 days, only because we add those gusty winds and the falling temperatures. Today, we're just dealing with generally light rainfall off and on throughout the day, but nonetheless, it is a Storm Team 6 alert day. You do see that snow in the Chicago area. Could cause some troubles if you are heading in that direction. That will not impact us today as far as the snow goes. But look at all this rain. It stretches way down to the southwest, and it's all heading in our direction. So periods of rain throughout the day today. It's going to be a pretty wet one for us. We're looking at about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain in most locations. Could be a little more in some isolated spots. Enough, obviously, to cause some issues, but not enough to cause any flooding.
Todd, thank you. Trick-or-treaters will be hitting the streets of central Indiana this week. Ahead at 6:30, what you need to know before you open your door so you don't waste your money.
19. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Gunfire overnight happening in multiple parts of Indianapolis. More coming up on shootings that left at least one person dead and several others in the hospital.
How many police officers does the city need to help bring down crime? Less than 1 week from Election Day, we find out what the candidates for mayor have to say about a key public safety issue.
And speech is something many of us take for granted, but coming up, I'm going to show you a device that is changing the lives of those who are nonverbal.
A big morning today. It's a Storm Team 6 alert day as we're tracking the weather for you as we approach Halloween.
Yes, we want to welcome in Todd. And Todd, a lot of people are planning out those costumes today. You're going to have to add the jacket, maybe stay inside even.
Inside's the best option tomorrow, and I hate to say that because I know how much kids love going out trick-or-treating, getting dressed up, but it's just going to be nasty tomorrow. Wind chills in the 20s with rain and snow, so tomorrow is actually probably worse than today. So if today's an alert day, you know tomorrow is going to be an alert day, so make sure you join us us all throughout the day. We'll keep you updated on that forecast. As far as this morning goes, areas of rain out there already. They're with us off and on throughout the entire day. There are some dry hours mixed in, so it's not a steady rainfall from start to finish, and then we'll deal with cool temperatures and breezy conditions today with highs probably only right around 50 degrees. Some heavier showers already in and around the Shelbyville area, stretching just north of Columbus back into Nashville, and then there's a little line of heavier rainfall that stretches from just to the west of Brownsburg and then off towards the northeast towards Noblesville and Tipton. And really, this is just the start of the rain moving in. You do not have to worry about the snow that you see near Chicago. That's where that stays. They're on the cold side of the system. But all this rainfall down to our south, that's what streams our way throughout the day today. We'll time it out for you in detail hour by hour using TrueCast in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, we are working for you, showing you what you can expect as you head out on the roads today. And here is a live look from our live drive vehicle. Our Shea Goodfaster behind the wheel. And this is a dash cam view of I-70 traveling westbound in from the east side heading towards downtown. You can see the windshield wipers working pretty lightly this morning, so you may run into just a few sprinkles at this early hour. No crashes, though, or delays, so that is good news as you're heading out the door. But we do begin with some breaking news. This is from overnight. Metro Police are investigating several shootings across our city, including one here that sent a 19-year-old man to the hospital.
So this shooting happened on Braxton Court, that's near 30th and Cumberland Road. Police say the man was sitting in his car when it was sprayed with bullets around 11:30 last night. He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. We're told that investigators believe he was shot somewhere else and then was driven to Braxton Court. Right now, police are still looking into what led to that gunfire.
On the near north side, 3 people were shot on Boulevard Place near Crown Hill Cemetery. Police were called to the area around 9:30 last night. Not a lot of details are known right now. We do know someone fired gunshots into the back of a home from an alley. 2 women and 1 man were shot. All 3 were taken to the hospital but are expected to recover.
And on the northeast side of town, a homicide investigation is now underway. This after a man was found dead in his own apartment. Neighbors were calling police to that complex near 62nd and Allisonville Road after hearing some sort of disturbance. Police say the 40-year-old victim was found suffering from some sort of trauma. Investigators at the scene telling RTV6 there were no signs of forced entry. Right now, they're still working to find out how many people were inside the apartment when this incident took place.
At 6:34, here's your call to action. If you have any information about any of these crimes, you can leave an anonymous tip by calling Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS or 317-262-8477. 8477.
Election Day is less than a week away, and RTV6 is getting answers to some important questions that will help you cast a more informed vote. With record-breaking homicides over the past few years, we asked all 3 mayoral candidates, Democratic incumbent Joe Hogsett, Republican challenger Jim Merritt, and Libertarian candidate Douglas McNaughton, what they would do about IMPD's staffing levels.
We've got to stop the idea that people don't want to be a police officer in Indianapolis. The mayor of Indianapolis has to have the back of not only the chief, but as well as the person on the line, the police officer.
The truth is, in the last 4 years, we have probably hired in excess of 300 police officers. But we also have an older police force, and when they retire or other forms of attrition come into play, that's why we talk about increasing IMPD by a net number of 150 additional officers.
Whether they're understaffed because they don't have enough people, or if they're understaffed because there are city policies causing things like the homicide rate to go up, all those things need to be addressed.
Election Day is November 5th. You can vote early through noon on Monday.
Well, on the ballot down in Johnson County, a Center Grove school referendum is asking for nearly $25 million in taxpayer money over the next 8 years. That funding would go towards safety and security efforts like additional school resource officers, upgraded alert and camera systems, and more counselors and mental health staff.
Hopefully the community can understand the importance of this, and I know that it's a big ask, and we just hope they take a step back and look at it from a parenting side of things, and maybe kind of do what's best for all of the students here within the community.
I don't feel like a single one of us should have to pay more on our property taxes just because the school needs more money to hire social workers and counselors if the money is somewhere else.
Well, Center Grove is one of 5 school districts in central Indiana with a referendum on the ballot.
This year's theme for the Stewart Speaker Series is My Vision, My Power. And last night, the series kicked off with several high-profile guests showing how they're working to show you how to be empowered to make a change. The talk at the Warren Performing Arts Center hosted a talk focused on financial literacy in the African-American community. Panelists included Rev Run of Run DMC and Lauren Simmons, the youngest and only current full-time trader at the New York Stock Exchange.
Our brains have been hardwired to connect happiness to spending. We have to disconnect happiness in the brain from spending and connect it to investing and saving.
RTV6 is a proud partner of the Stewart Speaker Series. The next event is scheduled for February the 26th, featuring radio host Ricky Smiley.
Many of us may take the ability to communicate through speech for granted, but those who are nonverbal have to get their message across in other ways. October is AAC Device Awareness Month, a way to bring attention to alternative devices available to people who need assistance with communication. Our Alyssa Donovan is in the studio this morning. Alyssa, these types of devices are used by millions of people.
That's right, Meredith. And these augmentative alternative communication devices can help their users with language development, literacy, and their quality of life in general. Sarah and Joseph Daunt know firsthand just how useful these devices can be. Their son Liam, who is almost 9 years old now, is on the autism spectrum. Liam used to only make sounds and say singular words, but was not necessarily verbal with his communication. He now attends Cornerstone, where they work with him on his communication. Less than a year ago, he started using an AAC device, which sort of looks like an iPad.
A lot of these devices have thousands of words programmed into it, so they're able to learn the system and then to be able to navigate and tell you exactly how they feel.
Liam is starting to speak in more sentences, and his parents say they're able to get a peek into their son's world and understand his wants and needs. The Downs say devices like these are a breakthrough for their son and others like him. They see a lot more independence in his future now that he's starting to use his AAC device.
All right, so Storm Team 6 alert day as we'll contend with rain off and on throughout the course of the day today. In fact, the rain's already falling in many locations. So as you start your morning commute, temperatures are in the 40s. They stay in the 40s through 8 a.m. with these showers that'll continue to build in. So the first wave of rain is making its way through central Indiana. Snow in Chicago back towards Peoria. We will not see snow in our forecast for the day today, at least. But this rain stretches all the way back to the Gulf of Mexico. So heavier downpour here near Marion, some light rain in Kokomo, back through Monticello into Lafayette, down to the south, some spotty showers from Shelbyville into the Nashville and Bedford area. A little bit of a break now in Bloomington as well as Bloomfield. But here is the rain that stretches down into Texas. So this is all heading in our direction. Unlike Saturday, if you remember back to that extremely wet day when it was a washout, today the showers are more scattered in nature. So there will be some breaks here and there. So make sure you use that interactive radar. Download the Storm Shield app. It has a free one in there, and the app is free as well. And we're not expecting any warnings today for your locations, but the radar, you can control it. So maybe if you want to get out and during the evening hours, get a quick walk in, you can check that interactive radar and see exactly where the rain is.
I'm Kelsey Anderson, and coming up, 2 local organizations want to change the way we talk about domestic violence on the heels of a domestic situation in Lawrence.
And if you've been missing her, the Mass Ave dancing queen, she's making a comeback. We're going to show you how she's new and improved and how she'll get her groove on again just a few hours from now. The time right now is 6:40. Stick around. We'll be right back after a short break.
I feel it.
Welcome back. It is 6:42 here on our Wednesday, and we're keeping a close eye on traffic. This is I-70, just a little bit east of Mount Comfort Road. We do have 1 lane blocked for ongoing construction in that right lane as you're approaching Mount Comfort Road. Could slow you down a little bit, but it looks like right now in the left lane, everything is traveling up to speed. Well, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and 2 local organizations, they're working to change that conversation on a subject that can sometimes be uncomfortable for some.
Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with more. Kelsey, what is the end goal for these groups?
Well, Lauren and Meredith, the end goal for these groups is to change the way that we as a community talk about domestic violence. They say they want to end the stigmatism around the topic. So this discussion was hosted last night on the heels of a domestic violence situation in Lawrence yesterday afternoon, where police say a man seriously injured his ex-wife in a shooting at a gas station. The suspect was later found by police, and he had taken his own life. The conversation was put together by Anti-MAME's Child Development Center and Indiana Healthy Marriage and Family Coalition. They want women, men, and children to know that domestic violence is a complex issue that affects everyone involved. And if anyone watching this takes one thing away from their message, Marta Bell wants it to be this.
Nobody deserves to live an inhumane life, and abuse is an inhumane treatment. And reach out, because you can't get help. People cannot help you if they don't know that you need help.
Their message to victims of domestic violence is it's okay to talk about your abuse with someone you trust. And if you don't have someone close to you that you can talk to, or if you need help getting out of an abusive relationship, you can reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Their number is 800-799-7233. You can also find help and resources on the Indiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence's website. We've got all that linked for you over on the RTV6 News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
It's no secret that more kids are using smartphones and other mobile devices here in central Indiana. A new study out this morning shows the time they spend watching online videos has doubled since 2015. A Common Sense Media, a non-for-profit that tracks the tech habits of young people. They say that 56% of kids 8 to 12 watch online videos every day for at least an hour. For kids 13 to 18 years old, that number jumps up to 69%. YouTube was the overwhelming choice for those surveyed, a service that is supposed to be off limits to kids under the age of 13.
Well, Anne is about to start dancing once again. That art installation known as Anne Dancing will make her return to Mass Ave just in time for Halloween. That's right, the new electronic art structure is scheduled to be installed around 8:15 this morning. You've seen her before. Anne was installed more than a decade ago, but she's been shut down since last May. The Indianapolis Cultural Trail raised more than $200,000 to pay for the updates and repairs. Organizers say the new Anne will have the same look and the same famous dance moves.
And she'll be there right in time for Halloween, but it's looking like the weather could get in the way of your trick-or-treating plans. So public safety leaders suggest that you come up with a plan B for your family, whether it's trunk-or-treating or other indoor Halloween activities. You should try to find something tomorrow night that's out of the elements. And if you do trick or treat outside, here's one reliable option. Every single Indianapolis Fire Department will be giving out treats from 6 to 8 p.m. on Halloween night.
But if you still plan on going trick or treating with the kids, we have a list of all area trick or treat times up right now on the RTV6 mobile app, as well as our website, theindychannel.com. If you're going to do that, hey, take an umbrella.
Yes.
Waterproof your costume.
You know,
I don't know.
One good suggestion I did see online is maybe visit a nursing home.
Now, that's
for trick-or-treating.
Obviously,
call beforehand. Don't just show up and scare the grandma and grandpas there. But that's a good way to do indoors, and then you get to interact with some community members.
Call first.
Yes.
Call first. Calling on Todd Clausen. What will the forecast be like?
Yeah, we'll start off with the Halloween forecast and kind of give you an overview, and then we'll dive into it here throughout Maine weather. But it is not going to be a pleasant evening. So, yeah, indoors is definitely better. Raphael, you mentioned the umbrella. I don't know how much good that will do because the winds are going to be whipping. So a jacket, a warm jacket with maybe a hood is probably going to be better. So as we work our way into the Halloween evening, that's when the winds are really going to pick up. You'll be shivering. Those teeth will be chattering. I guarantee that, as we will be dealing with temperatures that'll be falling throughout the day from the 40s into the 20s. Some wind gusts could be as high as 40 miles per hour. And then we're going to see some flurries mix in as well as we change the rain showers over to some snow showers. So again, this is Thursday evening, not tonight. This is for trick-or-treating. We're looking at temperatures that'll be falling from the 30s into eventually the 20s, and that precipitation will change over to a little bit of snow. I'll show you that on TrueCast in just a minute, but let's talk about the rain that's happening this morning for you as you get out the door and start your Wednesday morning commute. We're dealing with some heavier downpours here just now south of Tipton over towards Marion into the Alexandria area. Some light rain up near Logansport. We had this band of rain that went through Bloomington that's now pushing through Seymour into the Greensburg and Richmond area, but there's a lot more rain off to our southwest that has to work its way through during the course of the day today. It's not a solid batch of rain, so there will be some dry hours mixed in here and there that maybe you could run some errands, but it's still just going to be very damp. It's going to be very dreary throughout the entire day. Here's 11 a.m. on TrueCast. The showers continue to move through. It's probably mid-morning through early afternoon that the rain is going to be the most steady and widespread across the area. And then once we get towards the evening hours, tapers off to patchy drizzle, some spotty showers here and there across the area before the next round of rain comes in for Halloween. So today, wet roadways, showers off and on, temperatures into the low 50s, but with the dreary and damp conditions, it's going to feel even cooler than that. So your rain chances tomorrow are actually higher throughout the first half of the day than the trick-or-treating hours. But again, it's the wind and the colder temperatures that I think is the main issue for the day tomorrow. For the morning commute tomorrow, this is Thursday morning, rain across the area. You notice the snow starting to get closer and closer as we bring in some of those colder temperatures. But the question is how much moisture is going to be left by the time that cold air comes in. So right now I'm thinking some snow showers, maybe a few flurries, and then the precipitation wraps up by about 8, 9 o'clock. But notice how these wind speeds pick up throughout the trick-or-treating hours. It's going to be the windiest part of the day as we get into the evening hours, and that is our biggest concern. Once the front goes through, look at the cold air in place. Friday morning down to 27 degrees, the first hard freeze for the area. 46 with sunshine Friday afternoon, then highs stay in the 40s over the weekend with sunshine.
All right, Todd, it's time to check in with our live drive vehicle. Right now, Shea Goodpaster is behind the wheel, and he's traveling westbound on I-70, leaving the downtown area, heading towards the west side. You may need your windshield wipers on just a bit this morning for the Wednesday morning commute, but everything here is traveling smoothly. The good news is you're heading out the door right now. No crashes to report around the metro area. Okay, so despite that weather Todd just told us about, some kids are going to be braving the elements, ringing doorbells, and saying trick or treat very soon.
The question is, are you ready to handle the ghosts, the Elsas, the Jokers, and Harley Quinns? And do you have the candy they're looking for?
The consumer reporter John Mattery shows the embarrassing mistakes that some people make so you don't waste your money.
Hopefully you're ready for Halloween by now. The decorations are up and you have a bucket filled with candy and you're ready to welcome all those young goblins to your front door. But there are still some important things not to do on the big night. No matter what you think of Halloween and trick-or-treating, no one wants to be looked at as the neighborhood wicked witch or Scrooge who ruins the holiday for the local kids. So Parade Magazine says don't be cheap with candy, such as giving out a handful of candy corn or just one Tootsie Roll. Don't hand out toothbrushes or dental floss, even if you come from a family of dentists. Don't dress your little girl as Miley Cyrus. Actually, don't dress any young children as a sexy anything. And say no if your young one wants to be a lifelike Walking Dead zombie. Parade says that could lead to a lifetime of therapy. And from the Doesn't That Stink file, the worst thing you can do on Halloween, don't leave your front door light on if you're out of candy. If you have no treats, you could receive a trick and you'll say, doesn't that stink? So lock the front door and turn off the lights if you're not taking part in the Halloween festivities. Remember, this is not the night to teach kids lessons about sugar intake. Just hand out that candy and enjoy the moment so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
That's right, John. Enjoy the candy. We'll see you tomorrow morning. You can find more tips from John as well as more ways to avoid wasting your money. Just go to the money page of the RTV6 app or the IndyChannel.com.
Well, there's a new warning about a type of identity theft that's on the rise. Coming up in just a few minutes on Good Morning America, how hackers are swiping your phone number to reset your passwords, and they're taking your money.
That's coming up at 7 a.m. right here on RTV6. But if you go outside for Halloween tomorrow, you might think, shiver me timbers, it's cold out. Well, coming up, one Johnson County family is saying that for a very different reason. You have to see this next, right here on Good Morning Indiana. For life, visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
The home team still hasn't won a single game in this year's World Series, and that's the first time that has ever happened in a series that is going to 7 games. Last night, the Washington Nationals overcame a controversial interference call against shortstop Trey Turner in the 7th inning. Turner was called out for running inside the first baseline, even though he did not appear to. The Nationals got home runs from Adam Eaton, Juan Soto, and Anthony Rendon, but beat the Astros 7-2. Game 7 is tonight at Houston's Minute Maid Park.
All right, so Johnson County is landlocked, right? As those of us who grew up there know that pretty well. That's not to say that there isn't any water.
Right. There are several creeks and lakes that cut through places like Franklin and Edinburgh.
But the need for a ship in a neighborhood would be highly unlikely unless you're Dan and Suzanne Dugan and the employees of Dugan Air, and you're ready to set sail for Halloween tomorrow.
This home has undergone a major makeover in Johnson County. You can frame this love of Halloween as an annual tradition to thrill and treat those who enjoy the event. It took 2 days to get this home to become a pirate ship on the 3200 block of Amber Way in Bargersville. Many more hours have gone into the details. The ship will have a steering wheel and a skeleton driver. There will be more lighting effects this year, and live pirates will be able to walk along the deck. The pirate flag raised on a holiday treasure, loaded with characters, candy, and cool effects.
Yeah, that ship will be ready for viewing on Halloween during trick-or-treat hours there in Bargersville, and considering the weather, you may need that ship as shelter tomorrow.
Yeah.
But enjoy the sight. It's a beautiful thing there in Bargersville.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go check it out. It's in my hood.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
Road trip.
ahoy, matey.
Yeah, exactly. All right, rain, and more rain in the forecast here throughout the day today. It's fairly steady in the middle half of the day, then it tapers off this evening. Could see over a ½ an inch in many locations. Tomorrow's forecast, more rain. In fact, probably more rain tomorrow than today. It's also very windy with falling temperatures. Not going to be pleasant tomorrow evening for the trick-or-treaters.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. And thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America.
We hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay dry out there.